We're now joined on the line by the investigative journalist and author. Good evening to you, Jacques Pauw. Thank you so much for coming onto the program. Are you and your publishers determined to keep this book on the shelves despite the threats from SARS and the State Security Agency?
Absolutely. When I published this book, I was well aware of the possibility or the probability that the law enforcement agencies would institute legal action against us. So I'm not surprised. I'm not scared. The book stays on the shelves.
Jacques, the State Security Agency, of course, says the book is replete with inaccuracies. Do you stand by everything you've written?
Well, you know, it's very contradictory what both SARS and the State Security Agency are doing. If my book is replete with inaccuracies, why then are they taking me to court? Why do they want to charge me with the Intelligence Act? If my information is false, then I haven't breached the law. Then I have written a book of fiction, and therefore, why do the State Security Agency want to act against me? The same with SARS. SARS say I have breached or I have published confidential taxpayers' information. That means that the information I published was accurate. Otherwise, I haven't committed any crime. So I think they have to think very carefully before they take this kind of action.
The State Security Agency, in their cease and desist letter to you, has spoken about the disclosure of operational methods, classified documents, the identity of agents. It speaks of a former agent, Mr. Paul Engelke, whom it says it reached an agreement with that bound him to secrecy, and yet he's essentially gone back on that by speaking to you. What about those particular allegations?
Well, I think, you know, I don't know whether the State Security Agency have read the book, because they will say in the book that Paul Engelke was not a source. Paul Engelke refused to divulge any information to me. The chapters on the State Security Agency goes back to a project that they ran a couple of years ago, the Principal Agent Project, in which they wasted R1 billion of taxpayers' money. After the fraud, corruption and wastage emerged, they closed down the operation. That operation doesn't exist anymore. I can't jeopardize the project because it doesn't exist anymore. You know, so I find that you know, for example, the identities of mostly the identities of agents. I used their operational names. I don't use the names on their ID books and whatever. So I think, and some of the information I've published is even in the public domain. It has already been published. So I'm not sure what the State Security Agency refers to.
Let's speak specifically about SARS's allegations against you. And here they say repeatedly, when journalists approach them for information on the tax affairs of individuals, whether they're high profile or not, they stand by this right of reply. They are not allowed to divulge that information. They want to take you to court based on precisely that.
And SARS is absolutely lying. I'm sitting on my computer in front of me is the SARS website, and I refer to a press release of the 28th of April 2015 when SARS released the Sikakani report. That was the investigation into the so-called into Tom Moyani's fictitious SARS rogue unit. Paragraph 71 refers to SARS investigations into Radovan Krejcir. They revealed that confidential taxpayer information. Paragraph 70.5, Operation Flintstone, confidential taxpayer information. Paragraph 70.4, Operation Goldfinger, there's confidential taxpayer information. They never release any confidential taxpayer information. They have done it themselves.
As journalists, of course, you know, we are compelled to seek right of reply from implicated persons. Why didn't you approach the president and others implicated to give them the opportunity to respond?
Because we were concerned that if we approach SARS, that they can apply for an urgent court application against us. The same with the State Security Agency, the same with Crime Intelligence, the same with the Hawks. Now, this is not a work of journalism. This is a book. It's not a newspaper or a news site. Well, according to the press code, if you have good reason to believe that by approaching people for comment, you can jeopardize the publishing of your information, it is completely justifiable not to approach people for comment. And that is exactly what I've done. Otherwise, this book might not have been on the shelves at all.
Are you and Tafelberg prepared for the legal action that will almost certainly follow from State Security and SARS, Jacques?
We are absolutely prepared. Our lawyers are working on it as I speak, and SARS and the State Security Agency can bring it on. We're ready for them.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Investigative journalist and author Jacques Pauw.